Hello there. My name is Victoria Day of Embodiment Live Life More Fully. And today, like so often, my recordings are inspired by either a somatic movement therapy client or a somatic movement education student that I'm supporting in their process. And today I'm going to guide you in some exploration of the experience of being three-dimensional. And while it might seem that we would know this, that we would that we would just have this awareness, what I have found to be true in my own personal path and with many of the folks I support is that it's really a cognitive understanding of ourselves as moving beings. I myself, in my own process, discovered that due to a traumatic experience in my childhood, that I really moved through my life. I moved in my life in this three-dimensional world with only a real sense of my width and my height, very flat, very two-dimensional. And I've done my own process to understand how that really served me. Like flat Stanley, it was easy to slide in and out of experiences without really being present. But it made it very difficult for me to move in my life the way I wanted to, as a dancer and a performer, but also in relationship, energetically, uh, emotionally, and in relationship in my community. And so with time and practice, I have been filling out this three-dimensional map, like the mental map of my body, filling out that third dimension. And that's what we're going to play with a little bit today. So I'm going to invite you to start either seated as I am, or laying on your back with your legs bent and your feet on the floor, or your lower legs up in a chair, if you really would like to feel your whole back body. And we're going to start out with something that Rudolf Laban calls shape flow, the awareness that our breath invites us to feel our three dimensions. That from the moment of conception through birth and in our early phase, when we really only have this breath pattern of breath creates three-dimensionality within us. And then as we live our life, we lose that awareness often. So wherever you are, however you are, I'm going to invite you first to orient, to check into your space around you. Are you somewhere where you feel safe and comfortable exploring and inquiring, being curious? If not, I invite you to stop this video, do whatever it is you need to do to be in that sort of space for yourself. And also, we're only going to take up the space of a seated person, so it doesn't have to be a huge space, but just letting yourself check in. Are you somewhere where you can comfortably lay on the floor and sit for 15 to 20 minutes. Letting yourself check into the sounds of the space, the lighting, the temperature, orienting, checking in, so that this truly can be an inquiry where you can orient into yourself, your inner experience. And then whether you are laying on the floor or you're seated, I'm inviting you to be open to the way you are being supported, all the ways you're being supported, and seeing if you can let go of anything that you're holding on to that is beyond just active presence and is actually tension to keep you here. So jaw, feeling how your jaw is connected to your skull, letting yourself feel how your head is connected to your spine, how your clavicle and arms are connected to the spine, to the ribs, how the ribs are connected to the spine. You're noticing that theme. Feeling how your spine is then curving and beautiful and supporting all the way down to where it meets with the two halves of the pelvis. And then bottom of the pelvis, the pelvic floor. It's where support is coming in from the earth. So everything above it is supported, everything above it can soften and yield and let go. We're not really noticing and doing somatic therapy with the areas that are holding and not holding. Just let yourself be right here, right now. Nowhere to go, nothing to do other than to be, just allowing yourself to begin this inquiry into tuning into your breath. I'm going to invite you to do that. Close your eyes if you'd like. Let them softly gaze at me or at something in the room if that feels more comfortable. Begin to tune into the experience of your breath. You notice I'm making little tiny adjustments, which is what I would invite you to do. Tune in, allowing yourself to let go of the breath, let go of any any burp that you need to let go of. Okay? Let go of any holding that isn't necessary to create this shape. And we're going to just do a brief touch in, letting yourself feel how your breath invites the torso to grow and shrink. On the inhale, air flows in, the diaphragm pushes downward, pulling the air in. There is expansion, then let it go. Letting go of the breath. The diaphragm rises, torso shrinks. Now bringing your awareness into the front and the back body. The language that Laban uses is letting yourself feel how As you inhale, the front and the back body bulge away from each other. And then as you exhale, they hollow back towards each other. So letting yourself feel that. Often we're very aware of the front body moving forward, but I invite you to bring the awareness into the back body, noticing anywhere that the back body can move backwards during the inhale. Fill up, bulge, and then feeling how the back body, as well as the front body, hollow, shrink, collect towards each other. If you need a little more time with this, stop the video, join me. We're going to move to horizontal. Letting yourself shift your awareness of your breath so that now you are feeling it flowing in. And I like to imagine it flows both in my nose and in my belly button. And it fills up the right and the left halves of my torso. So that now I am growing and shrinking in the dimension of horizontal. Where we were in sagittal, front and back, now horizontal, open. And in Laban language, we talk about widening and narrowing. Feeling how the body, just from the breath, through every part of the torso, we can feel it up in the upper chest and the shoulders, in the armpits, in the rib basket, down in our appendages, in our lower back, our sacrum, and our pelvic floor. Widening and narrowing. And again, if you need to explore this more, please stop the video. Exploring that feeling, the awareness, the imagery, whatever you need to bring it to letting yourself have the sensation of the breath widening you as it fills you up through each body half, and then narrowing back towards this midline, shrinking and condensing. And as we return, we're going to let ourselves feel the verticality of our breath. And this is where, for me, it's really helpful to not just feel the actual breath coming in my nose and out my nose or my mouth, but feeling as if my breath flows in from the belly button, from the umbilical cord. There was this back years ago, right? Nourishment flowed in, toxins flowed out. And that's the way that I can let myself feel that when my breath comes in, it goes up and down as I inhale, goes up towards the head, down towards the tail, lengthening me. It's the words that Laban would use. And then as I exhale, it flows down, back towards the core, towards the original source core, down towards the belly button center. And I like to imagine the inside of my spine actually lengthening and shortening spaces, my vertebra having a little more space between them on the inhale, and then gently swooshing them together, moving the cerebrospinal fluid. And notice I am not doing anything. I am not forcing myself long and short. I am letting myself feel the breath, changing the shape, letting the flow of the breath change the shape. And again, if you'd like to stop here and play with that a little longer, please do, and then turn to moving, to bringing breath-inspired movement. And this is what my client and I are. So as you feel the breath growing and shrinking, we're going to we're going to let our spine and the four quarters of our three-dimensional body really be moved by the breath. And so as you inhale, I'm going to invite you not just to feel how the breath is moving the tissue, but to allow your body to move, your spine to move backwards in space on the inhale, and then letting yourself stay there and feel how the exhale empties the front of the body, inhaling into the left side and letting the left side move. I even like to bring my arm into this, letting it fill up, and then exhaling, feeling how the opposite side empties, narrows, hollows, shrinks, short. Inhaling into the front body, I'm going to let my front body move forward. And then I'm going to exhale and feel how the back body responds to the exhale. Filling up into the right side of the ribs, letting them open from down in the pelvic floor all the way up through the ribs, letting the breathe them open, growing, and then exhale, bringing that awareness into the opposite side. I'm going to go back through this one more time, letting yourself come back to neutral. Notice anything you need to notice, let your breath go. I'm just going to move to the side, move it at an angle. Let's see if that's move to the side here so you can get a different perspective. Start by what I call the check-in, which I will add the link to in the description. Letting myself feel how I am supported, so that I am moving from supported base. And I may start with just that sense of the breath flowing, filling me up and emptying me. I'm ready to let my body actually change shape. Let my back body move into the backward dimension. It's also shrinking and vertical. As I exhale, let myself feel it in the front body, moving backwards. Then I bring it into the side body, inhaling, letting the left side of my body move away from the center. That breath, and then feeling the exhale, letting the opposite side empty and shrink towards the midline. And then letting my front body fill up and move forward, letting my spine move forward, and then exhaling, scapula rest towards each other, feeling folding in, noticing my supported pelvic floor, breathing into the right side, letting that right side move as the top of my head, my tailbone, and my fingers all move to the left, so that as I exhale, And get that curve. Then I inhale myself neutral. Invite you again as I leave this video, let yourself feel what you feel. Allow yourself to notice it. Feel what felt easy. Feel what felt challenging. Letting your body really explore both the 3-dimension of breath and then the 3-dimensionality of space. Thank you for joining me for this somatic inquiry. If you'd like to know more about what I offer, I am based in mid-Missouri. I see clients both in person in my studio in mid-Missouri, as well as by Zoom, supporting them to live life more fully in whatever way that might be. And I'll put the details about how to connect with me down below. Thank you so much.